going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. Casemaker webinar. My name is Samantha and I am a customer service representative and the webinar trainer for our program. Casemaker service is brought to you by your Nebraska Bar Association, and of course you'll need to access Casemaker through the bar site each time that you would like to use it. The home screen, which is the screen that you can see we are on now. Off to the left are some links that are specific to your personal Casemaker account. I would encourage you to explore those at your leisure. There are a lot of fantastic services there for you. The top portion of your screen is actually the search area. This section contains everything you need to conduct your searches and will remain at the top of your screen regardless of where you are in the Casemaker database. This will help keep you from getting lost in the system as well as provide you with easy access for new searches. The main portion of the page that you can see here is our browsing content. This allows you to browse through the content that Casemaker has to offer. From the blue navigation bar, you can click on All Content and see the listing of libraries that Casemaker contains. The Federal Materials tab will provide you with a listing of the federal libraries, and the State Materials tab will provide you with a listing of all 50 states plus the District of Columbia. Regardless of your bar affiliation, you have access to all 50 states plus the District of Columbia as well as all of our federal materials. Throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, I would encourage you to type those into the questions toolbar, and we will get through those as soon as we can. Let's go ahead and click on Nebraska for today's webinar. As you can see, clicking on the state provides you with a listing of libraries that state has to offer. Each state will offer you different levels of information, at a minimum giving you access to case law, statutes, and the Constitution. Many bar associations, such as Nebraska, have partnered with Casemaker to provide access to Casemaker to their members, and in turn have provided us with extra libraries that they would like included. So Nebraska is a great example of this. Basically, the states will provide you with, at a minimum, case law, Constitution, and statutes. But as you can see here, we have many other libraries for Nebraska. That really opens up the amount of research that you can conduct here. We'll go ahead and click on statutes. As you can see, clicking on statutes will open a listing of the chapters, and you can actually click through and explore these in a table of contents, table of contents or index fashion. So if we are to click on one of these chapters, for example, we'll go with banks and baking. We're then provided with the next level of information that it contains, which would be the articles. We can then click on a specific article to open it up further and see the listing of statutes in numerical order. Now you can click on an individual statute to view the text that it contains. The red italic text provided at the top of the statute will let you know how current this information is. If there was any new affecting legislation for the statute, that information would appear here at the top, and you would be able to click on the Supercode tab to be taken to that legislation. Also in the dark gray navigation bar up here, we can see the archive. This will allow you to view past versions of the statute or how it stood in past years. Also is the Annotator tab. This is a new feature in the Casemaker system and will provide you with a listing of cases that have cited this statute specifically. Now this particular statute does not have any cases that have cited it. but another tab that's available to you is the Browse TOC tab, which will take you back to the table of contents where the statute was listed. In addition to clicking on an individual statute, you could also choose to click on the combined link at the top of the listing. What this will do is actually open the statutes on this screen in one screen so that you're able to read through the text and scroll through them continuously. So as we can see here, we can see 8-201, followed by 8-201.01, etc. When you're ready to return to the home page, there are two ways to do so. You can locate and click on the home link at the top of the search area, or you can click on the Casemaker logo. This will take you back to the home page. The blue navigation bar provides you with a link to our tools. This provides you with a listing of the additional subscription features Casemaker has to offer. This will provide you with brief descriptions of what those features are. The Archive tab that's also provided in the blue navigation bar will allow you to view the legislative acts or statutes, and then allows you to select a state. So of course we could click on Nebraska. From here you can select a year and view the laws as they stood at that time. Casemaker recognizes that access to previous laws is helpful, especially when dealing with a case that has an offense that occurred a couple of years ago, for example. It would be necessary to view the laws as they stood at the time the offense occurred. So it's definitely important to us at Casemaker to be able to provide that information to you. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention this earlier, but from the Tools tab, as I mentioned, these are all additional subscription features. However, these are features that are provided to you free through your Nebraska Bar Association membership. So you don't have to worry about paying anything extra. You actually have access to all of these features and some others that we'll get to in just a moment. Let's go ahead and talk about searching. I know that this is the part of the system I utilize the most. I mentioned earlier that the top portion of the screen is the search area and contains everything you need to conduct your searches. Well, this is our Google-like search bar. The reason that we say it's Google-like is because you can actually type in what you're looking for, and Casemaker is going to deliver results to you from all of our libraries. Much like entering a search on Google, how Google will then provide you with websites, as well as videos, images, shopping options, and more. Casemaker will provide you with results that includes case law, statutes, attorney general opinions, and so on, depending on your jurisdiction. Of course, you'll need to establish the jurisdiction you're searching within before conducting the search. Directly to the right of the bar that you type in is our jurisdiction menu. This will likely say all states, as that is the Casemaker default, but clicking on the box will open the jurisdiction menu for you. And here you can select as many or as few states as you see fit for your research. You can also select your federal materials here. Your state and federal level searching can be conducted simultaneously. You may have also noticed the Select Related Federal box. Checking this box will cause Casemaker to return results from your selected state or states, as well as any federal material relevant to that jurisdiction specifically. We'll go with all states for today's presentation. You'll need to be sure to click the blue Save button at the bottom to continue. Now you're ready to start searching. You can type in pretty much anything you need into the search bar. Start with keywords, a citation, case name, any of it. If you prefer to conduct a more complex syntax search, I highly recommend that you click the blue Search Tips link that appears here below the search button. This will provide you with a listing of the operators that function on the Casemaker system. So let's go ahead and conduct a search. I'm going to type in a couple of keywords. And then click the blue search button to conduct the search. Here we can see our initial results. What you will see in the initial results are the top 2 most relevant results from each of the libraries within the jurisdiction you've selected. So here we can see 2 results for cases, 2 statutes, 2 attorney general opinions, and so on. When you're ready to view all of the items in one particular library, there are 2 ways to do so. You can locate and click on the View All link next to the library's heading, or you can select the library from your left-hand overview. This will display the results screen, which will give you 20 results at a time. So here we can see results 1 through 20, and by locating and clicking on this arrow in the dark gray toolbar, we could see results 21 through 40 and further. Our left-hand menu has our left-hand menu has changed a bit. Here we can see that we can narrow our search results by adding additional criteria. We can enter more search words, choose a more specific jurisdiction or a particular court, type in a citation or docket number, a full or partial case name, judge, or attorney, as well as limit the results by date. Now, personally, I find that 3,381 results are too many to go through, so I'm going to narrow that down by adding another search term. Typing in your search term and clicking the Go button will have Casemaker regenerate the results to provide you with only those cases that contain all three of the terms you have typed in: handguns, felony, and guilty. This brings us down to 2,796 results. Now, of course, we would really want to narrow this further if we intended to get through all of these in just one day. So I'm going to add another search term. This time I'll add the term assault. Once again, Casemaker is regenerating the results to provide you with only those cases that contain all four of our search terms now: handguns, felony, guilty, and assault. Now this brings us down to 1,187 cases, and we could still do better. So let's go ahead and try typing in a phrase. To enter a phrase into the Casemaker system, you'll actually surround the phrase by the quotation marks. This tells Casemaker to look specifically for what you have typed in exactly as it's typed in between those quotations. So you'll need to make sure you don't have any additional spacebar, spaces, or anything like that. Once again, Casemaker is regenerating the results to provide us with only those cases that give us exactly what we've typed in. So all 8 of these cases now contain the term handguns, the term felony, guilty, assault, as well as the phrase minor child. Now, 8 might be a bit narrow. If at any time you have gotten to a point where something in your search isn't working for you, you do not have to start over. Simply locate the item from the top of the left-hand menu and uncheck the corresponding box. Casemaker will then regenerate the results less that particular item. And you can continue to do that until you've gone all the way back or just eliminated the things that really aren't working for you. So in this case, we could also eliminate the term guilty. And once again, Casemaker will regenerate those results for us. Let's take a look at the results now. By default, the results are sorted according to relevance. However, you can change that using the dark gray toolbar by clicking on the Sort By option. We also offer date decided, number of times cited, and state in ascending or descending order. The dark gray toolbar also provides the opportunity to download, save to folder, email, print, and view details. View details is referring to these contextually relevant snippets of information that you can see below each of the search results. The results themselves will provide you with some information, including case name, citation, parallel citation where available, court, date decided, and the number of times it was cited in the database. Next to this number, you'll see a graph icon. By clicking on this icon, Casemaker will then plot on a line graph and the number of times that this case was cited over the years. You can hover over the dot to see that number or click on it to receive a listing of clickable links to those cases. You may have also noticed the green thumbs up and red thumbs down icons. This is a part of Case Check Plus, which is one of those additional subscription features I mentioned earlier. Case Check Plus is a citator service, letting you know if the case is still good law. The green thumbs up signifies that the case has not received any negative treatment in subsequent cases, where the red thumbs down indicates that it has. And this additional subscription feature is now being provided to you free through your bar association. Let's go ahead and click on a case to access it and take a closer look. As we can see here, the dark gray toolbar has the Document tab highlighted since we're viewing the document for this case. Next to the Document tab is Citing References. This will provide you with a listing of cases that have cited this case. Links to these cases are included and will take you directly to the portion where the case that you are researching has been involved. These are separated into the same state of publication, other states, and federal. This is a standard part of the Casemaker database. However, the Negative Treatment tab is not. It will only appear if you have access to Case Check Plus, which of course all of you do. The Negative Treatment tab will provide you with the listing of cases that have negatively affected the case that you're researching. So as we can see here, this particular case has been criticized. Upon returning to the Document tab, you can make note that the most prominent negative treatment appears on the document as well. So if a case has received multiple negative treatments, the most prominent version will appear here. The light gray toolbar provides you with useful information as well. You can click on this link to return to the listing of your results, or use this set of arrows to go to the previous result or the next result from that listing. The second set of arrows will allow you to toggle back and forth between occurrences of your search terms. Each of the terms that you've searched for is colored in red so that it's able to be identified easily. We've also incorporated a page jump feature. This makes navigating a lengthy case such as this one much easier. No more scrolling for what feels like days. Just a couple of simple clicks and you're right where you need it to be. Speaking of page numbers, Casemaker has incorporated parallel citations as well as dual pagination. The first citation provided on the document will correspond with the page jump feature, as well as the orange page numbers that you can see throughout the document. The second citation provided does not correspond with the page jump features, but we do provide you with page numbers throughout the document that can be identified in bold black text surrounded by brackets. Next to the page jump feature is the font resize option. With just one click, the size of the font on your screen significantly increases, and with a second, returns to standard. The Notes menu is last in our light gray toolbar. You have the ability to add a note to any document you find in the Casemaker system. This note is specific to your account and cannot be seen by any others. To add a note, you'll click the Notes drop-down menu and choose Add Note. Simply type your note in and click Save. Your notes are then stored at the top of your document, but you can use the Notes menu to decide whether they are hidden or on display. You can use the corresponding pencil icon to make changes to your note, or the X to delete it. Of course, the dark gray toolbar still provides the opportunity to print, email, save to folder, and download. Let's go ahead and click on Print. Here you can select the document format that you'll be printing through. We currently offer PDF, Word, and WordPerfect at this time. You can choose between single and dual column layout, highlight the terms you searched for, print the list of citing references, and you can also print the list of negative treatments as well. Additionally, you can attach the notes you've typed in as well as a separate cover page. You have these same opportunities when you email, as well as when you download. Now let's talk about Save to Folder. Let's say your standard practice is to print cases you need or download them to your work computer. You've gone home and after dinner you've time to do some more research and you'd like to read over a case you found earlier in the day. Well, now you have to access Casemaker again anyways because the case you printed got left behind on your desk at the office, or you've downloaded it to your work computer, and that's only helpful if it's a laptop and you remembered to bring it home. So instead of wasting your paper or the space on your hard drive or your time, you can save the items you need to a folder in your Casemaker account, which is accessible anywhere you can access the web. The first thing you'll need to do is create a folder. Click on the orange My Folder icon that appears here next to the search button and choose Create Folder. You can type your folder name in here and then click OK. There are actually two methods that you can use to go about saving items to your folders. The first is pretty straightforward. You click on the Save to Folder icon, choose your folder, and click Save. The second method is a little more hands-on, but absolutely useful. This time you'll click on the orange My Folder icon and select the folder you'd like to use. Then click OK. This allows the orange folder icon to represent the folder that you've chosen. And from this point, you can actually click, drag, and drop that document directly into the folder for saving. When you're ready to view the contents of your folders, you can click on the white My Folders link at the top of the search area. The listing of your folders is displayed here on the left, and clicking on your folder will display its contents in the central area of the screen. Once the folder is open, you have the opportunity to move, rename, or delete the entire folder. You can also use the individual checkboxes to print, download, email, or throw away folder contents. Each item in your folder does have a date stamp to remind you of when you added it. And we do provide you with access to a trash file. Next to the My Folders link at the top of the search area is a link for your clients. Here you can create and store a list of clients that you'll be doing research for. Click Add next to the client name field, type in your client's name, and click OK. You can then select your client from the drop-down menu and choose Continue, or you can choose to keep track of the different matters you're handling for that client. Click Add next to the matter number field, type in a name or other identifier, and click OK. You can then select that item from the drop-down menu as well and choose to continue. Making your selections and clicking Continue effectively logs you in as doing research for this client. You can be reminded of this by noticing that the client link has changed to display the client's name. From this point forward, any research you do or documents you view are being labeled as research for this client. I'll show you how this comes in handy in a moment. For now, let's go ahead and get back to searching. This time, let's say you want to search for a statute. Actually, there's a question I'd like to go ahead and address. There's someone asking if the My Folder option is only accessible to your login. That's correct. Any of the folders that you create, as well as the clients that you create, are only accessible through your login. And of course, you are only able to log into your Casemaker account through your Bar Association information. So let's go ahead and give it a shot at searching for a statute. Let's say you have the statute number. All you'll have to do is actually just type that directly into the search bar here from the home page. Of course, make sure you have the appropriate jurisdiction selected. I then highly recommend that you use the Section Radio button. This tells Casemaker how to apply the information you've typed in. Then click Search. As we can see, the statute we were looking for comes right up. Let's go back to the home page, however, and take a look at what happens if we don't use the Section Radio button. So this time we'll just type our statute number in, choose our jurisdiction, and click Search. What happens is Casemaker defaults to a keyword search setting. So while the statute we were looking for does appear, it's alongside any other time this particular string of numbers has been found throughout the jurisdictions database. You can search in a similar manner for a case you have the citation to. Again, from the home page, just type the citation in. As you can see, I didn't use any spacing, capitalization, or punctuation, and you can if you'd like to. But Casemaker will automatically correct the formatting for you. Just be sure that you properly abbreviate your reporters. Typing in an abbreviation that's not recognized by the Casemaker system will result in 0 documents being found. Casemaker goes by the Blue Book Citation Guidelines if you have any questions regarding abbreviations. Because the citation is already state or reporter specific, you don't have to be too choosy about your jurisdiction. Just be sure that if you type in a federal level citation, you'll need to then select the federal level databases. And of course, I highly recommend you use the Citation Radio button, again, to tell Casemaker how to apply the information that you've typed in. Then click Search. As we can see, the case comes right up. Something that I'd like to point out, for example, if we were to type in a citation that would bring up, let me word this better. You can type in pin sites to the Casemaker system. If we were to type in 388 Northwest 2nd 803, we'll still be able to pull up this case, assuming it also appears on page 803 in the textbook, or excuse me, the the book of, I'm sorry, the book of citations. What would happen is Casemaker would not necessarily locate the citation specifically, but would recognize that that was a page number and that it does belong to a case, and would then bring that case up. So if we were to type in a citation such as page 803, of course we want to mark that citation radio button. Let's take a look at what we'll get. As we can see, our same case still comes up. So you can rest assured that if you're typing in a pin site, you'll still be able to locate the case you're looking for. There's another question that came through. Someone is asking if I can demonstrate how to check the statute in past years again. So there are actually two ways that you can go about doing that. You can either go directly to the archive if you wanted to locate a past version of a statute. This is your best method, for example, if you wanted to look at an entire chapter or an entire block of statutes as it stood in past years. You would then just click through to that specific year and then click through and browse through the statutes in that table of contents fashion to access that block of statutes. The alternative to this, of course, is if you have a specific statute in mind. What you would want to do at that time is actually just type the statute number in from the home page. So let's get back to that. We'll give the system just a moment to catch up with us. It was still trying to load the 2008 statutes. So from the home page, what we would do, of course, is type our statute number in. And I'll just use the statute that I was using for our past search, which would be that 28-701. All right, so let's go ahead and get that typed in. And of course, we'll choose our proper jurisdiction. And I will use the section radio button to conduct the search. And I do apologize. It appears that this particular computer is attempting to run some type of Windows update in the background, which is slowing things down a bit. Please bear with me. Let's see if there are any other questions while we're waiting. All right, so the statute has come up. We'll click into the statute. If we wanted to view this statute as it stood in a previous year, we'll be able to click on the Archive tab here in the dark gray toolbar and select the year that we wanted to view it in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the links our search area has to offer. Here we can actually click on a link labeled History. What this will do is provide us with a complete history of every search we've created and every document we've viewed since the very first time we logged into the Casemaker system. So say, for example, on Friday you spent hours searching for just the right statute, but you forgot to save it to a folder. No big deal. Just use your history to find it again without the hassle. Each item in your history is complete with a date and timestamp as well as a client label if you performed it while logged into a client. Also provided as a link at the top of the search area is the help link. Now clicking this link will open a PDF version of our user guide and a new tab or window. So you will need to allow the pop-up or disable your pop-up blocker in order for this window to open. You can actually do this very easily and temporarily if you're on a Windows machine, just by holding down the Control button on your keyboard and clicking the Help link. This disables the pop-up blocker only for the length of time you're holding down the Control button. So you don't have to worry about making any changes or reverting anything or being a computer pro. Once the PDF version of our user guide is open, you can see that it provides you with a table of contents here on the first page. So you can quickly reference how to set up a client, for example, and see that that information is provided on page 20. You can scroll down to page 20, of course, or you can use the page jump feature at the top of the screen to type that number in and be taken directly to that instruction. As you can see, this isn't just a text explanation of how to do something. We also provide you with screen captures so you can see you're on the right track as well. And don't worry, I know this font looks itty-bitty. Because it's a PDF document, you can simply zoom in until it suits your eyesight a bit better. You can then scroll to the top of the document to get back to the first page, or of course, just type the number 1 in to be taken to it. The first page also provides our customer support information. Casemaker's live customer support is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Here we provide our toll-free telephone number as well as our email address. When you're done with the user guide, simply close it to return to Casemaker since it opened in its own window. Another link at the top of the Casemaker search bar is the videos link. This will actually take you to a listing of the videos, which I have helped to create, that help you overview and demonstrate the different aspects of the Casemaker system. These are great resources and refreshers on your training. Let's return to the Casemaker homepage. It looks like we have another question. So the question is how you can copy and paste a portion of the case and have that information be copied with the pin site location so that it can be pasted directly into a Word document without having to manually enter the site location. That is an excellent question. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll discuss it as we go. I'm going to go back to the citation that I typed in previously, just because I have that handy. Of course, let's use our citation radio button and click search. All right, so we are accessing the case and actually in it at the moment. As we can see here, this particular case has been overruled. But let's just go ahead and scroll down and see, for example, we wanted to copy, let's see, this particular section of the case. So we'll highlight it, and we'll right-click it, and we can choose copy or copy with citation. We'll choose copy with citation. What you'll do next is actually open, for example, Microsoft Word in a separate window, of course. And I think we're all acquainted with the fact that Word can take a little bit of time. And then we will, again, right-click and choose Paste. So let's go back to the Casemaker screen, and we will demonstrate this again. We will highlight the portion, right-click, copy with citation, and then we will simply paste that right in. Now what happens is, and unfortunately my Word program is of course wanting to be difficult. I don't know if anybody else experiences this with Microsoft Word, but again, we do have some updates to make on this particular program. Basically what happens is Casemaker is then going to paste the information that you have copied, so that would be this sentence here, and it's going to paste in with the citation specifically. Now the citation that's going to paste is actually going to be the citation as it appears here at the top of your screen. The State v. Douglas, 388 Northwest 2nd, 801. It's not going to paste the page number, so you will need to type that in manually afterwards. To be honest, the best method to do that, so of course you've just highlighted, copied, and then pasted with the citation that particular information. Before you click over to your Word document, just make note that this is on page 835. So when you paste it over, you can just make your separate little indentation that is on page 835. And while that's probably not exactly what you were hoping would happen, that is something that we're working on for the Casemaker system update. We would like for that to copy over with the pin site, of course. From the home page, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the links that the search area has to offer. We've only got 3 left. Next to the help link is the webinar link. Clicking on this will open a listing of webinars that you're able to click on to register for and attend. They are very similar to today's webinar, and I actually conduct each of them myself. These webinars are not state-specific, such as the one that you're going through today, but they do provide you with all of the same information on how to navigate and use the Casemaker system. We do encourage that you attend multiple webinars. Just like when you watch a good movie, you tend to pick up on some of the details the second and third time around. Next to the webinar link is the live chat link. This is a new customer service feature in the Casemaker system. Clicking the live chat link during our regular business hours will allow you to actually instant message with our customer support team directly on your screen, and that can really help out when you're having trouble formulating searches. So if our customer support team has a suggestion for you, instead of making sure that you key spell everything correctly and such, you can actually just copy and paste those search suggestions right into the search bar. Now, anytime that you have logged into a web page, be it your Facebook account, your LinkedIn page, or perhaps your bar association page or your email, or maybe you've even just logged in to pay your water bill, it is always a good idea to log out for your security purposes. Casemaker offers a bit of an incentive to log out. Upon clicking the Sign Out link, you'll be logged out of the system and provided with a session summary. This is a complete listing of everything you did while logged in, including date and time stamps, as well as client labels if you perform them while logged into a client. We highly recommend that you print this page and keep it for your records, because once you leave this screen, the information cannot be retrieved. Of course, the searches and documents are stored in your history, but without the clear indication of when you signed in or signed out, so the session summary itself will be lost. A little tip that I like to suggest is as soon as you log into the Casemaker system, go ahead and log in for your client. When you've completed your research for that client for the time being, whether it's to switch clients or to take a lunch break, go ahead and sign out of the system entirely. This way the entire session summary is devoted to that client, and the date and timestamps can help you keep track of your billable hours. Getting back into the system is as simple as clicking the Sign In link. This will redirect you to the Nebraska bar page where you can re-access Casemaker. This does conclude the webinar that I have presented and provide a presentation for. If there are any additional questions, I would love to go ahead and address those at this time. All right, so there's a question asking where you enter the client name information. That's excellent. We'll go over that again. Let me go ahead and get logged back into the system for you. All right, so as we can see here right at the top of the search area in the Casemaker system, we have a link labeled Client. It's really pretty simple. You click on the client link, click Add next to the client name field, type in a name or other identifier for your client, and you can also choose to keep track of the different matters. Of course, making your selections and clicking Continue will log you into that specific client. There's a question asking if I know when the trademark trial and appeal board decisions will be added to the library. I don't have a specific date for any type of information regarding what will be added to the library or when, but we can get you kind of a ballpark if you are really needing to know that information. I do know that we are working on updating the Casemaker library system daily, and we hope to add more and more content with each update. Are there any other questions that some of you would like addressed at this time? There's a question asking how frequently does the system update citations. If you're asking how often we add cases to the database, they are actually added within 72 hours of publication. Are there any other questions? Okay, so there's a question asking if the legal forms are state-specific. The legal forms actually is an interesting topic. Casemaker does not actually host the legal forms specifically. We have a relationship with uslegalforms.com. So by clicking on the legal forms link, you'll be taken to their site and given Casemaker pricing. All of the forms on that site, of course, are specified by state. All right, well, it doesn't appear that there are any other questions at this time. We'll take maybe another minute to make sure everybody's had a chance, and then that will conclude today's webinar. Thank you, everyone. There's a request to display Casemaker Digest. Absolutely. So to access Casemaker Digest, you'll go in through the Tools menu and simply click on Casemaker Digest. Casemaker Digest is, provides you with a listing of cases that have been published within 72 hours of their publication and gives you summaries of those cases. Now, of course, I need to log in. Since I do not have a special Nebraska Bar Association login, I need to type my information in, so give me just a moment, please. All right, so here we are accessing Casemaker Digest. What you would want to do most likely is view the most recent summaries by clicking on the Recent Summaries link. And of course, you can separate this by specific jurisdiction. So you could go up here and specifically choose Nebraska to view those recent decisions. But this gives you a great example of how Casemaker Digest actually works. Over here on the right side of your screen, you can see the ability to refine your searches. You can really narrow down into the types of summaries that you're viewing, either by area of practice, court, judge, or of course jurisdiction. Anytime that you click on a plus sign next to one of these, so if we were to view the appellate civil area of practice, that gets added up here at this nice blue bar. What this does is actually narrow down the information that you're viewing. So now each of the items that are going to be displayed here is provided in the appellate civil. We could continue to narrow that further by clicking on more of these plus signs, and then once you have exactly what it is that you would like to view for Casemaker Digest, not only can you read those summaries directly on the Casemaker Digest system, but you can also set up an RSS feed, which is, if you're not familiar with how that works, it works a lot like receiving news information on your internet browser. Or you can also set up to receive email updates, either daily or weekly, as cases are added to that area of practice or that specific court, etc. Let me return to the Casemaker screen. There's also a request to demonstrate site check. Site check is our brief service. So basically what this does is allows you to upload a brief, and Casemaker will go through and pull all of the citations out of that brief and run them through CaseCheck Plus, which of course is our citator service, and let you know whether or not those cases are still good law. I'm not certain that I have a brief loaded on this computer that I can demonstrate, but this is the site check system, and here you would click on Browse, and hopefully I'll be able to locate a file for you. Let's take a look at what we've got. Here we go, sample brief. So then you'll click Open. Now Casemaker does have very specific files that you can add to the site check system. You can offer a .doc, .txt, or .pdf, and this does need to be a searchable PDF. And then you'll click Submit. This will take up to 3 minutes. Casemaker is going to load that information and of course pull all of the citations out. You'll then be given a report, your site check, from your brief. So we'll wait just a moment while that goes through. There's a question that's been asked while we're waiting. Is there a separate webinar for the mobile application, or is it essentially used the same as on a laptop or a PC? And now that our results have loaded, I'll get to that in just a moment. Here we can see how site check goes through and pulls the citations out of your brief and checks them for you. So as we can see here, this particular one has not been criticized or anything. This particular case has been criticized, and we'll go through and list. As we can see, this particular case was criticized over and over again. Give you all of that different information. Also, Casemaker doesn't just tell you yes, it's good, or no, it's not good. We'll also let you know when a citation didn't quite add up. So this particular citation, for example, wasn't typed in properly. Maybe there was a space that was typed in wrong, or we just forgot to add the rest of the page numbers, but it wasn't recognized as a citation. What you can then do is actually just copy that and go, oh, that was actually supposed to be page 30. I don't know that it's supposed to be page 30. I'm making that one up. And click Add. Casemaker will add that at the end of your table. And as we can see here, no, it was not supposed to be page 30. So but that gives you an example of how you can continue to make that work for you. And then once you've completed viewing your brief, you can actually have that mailed to you or to your boss if you're a paralegal, or to your associate if you're working on a case with someone, etc. And you, of course, can include a note. So that would be our wonderful site check system. Now, regarding the mobile application, Casemaker does have a mobile application, and it is free for use for any bar member, actually any member of Casemaker. What you'll need to do is click on this red Available Mobile Application link, and Casemaker will ask you to fill out some basic registration information. That's going to include first and last name, telephone number, email address, that kind of thing. Once you hit Submit with your registration information, we will give you a reference code. Now, after you've submitted your reference, you don't have to multiply go through this if you get a new phone. If you click on the mobile application link, like I'm about to do, if you've already registered, you'll just be given your code again. Let me go ahead and get out of that so you guys can't see my code. I'm just kidding. It's not that big of a deal. So once you've registered for the mobile application, as I showed you, you'll get this wonderful reference code. What you'll then do is go into your app store, whether it's an iDevice or Android phone, and download the Casemaker mobile app. You can find it just by typing in Casemaker. When that opens, you'll be asked to enter the email address that you registered with, make sure you remember which one it was, and the reference code that you were provided, and it is case sensitive. From there, you'll be able to navigate through the Casemaker system, and yes, it does work pretty much just like the website itself. It's just on a much smaller format. Are there any other questions? Any other questions at all? All right, well, if there are no other questions, I will say that please feel free to contact our customer support department. This is what we are here for, to assist you in the Casemaker system and using it and making it really work for you. And in addition to using our live chat feature or using the help link, you can actually scroll down to the bottom of any page in the Casemaker system. And there you will find a link to email us, as well as our toll-free telephone number. And just as a reminder, our business hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for today's webinar. This does conclude my presentation.